Ladies and gentlemen, good day and welcome to the Bank of India conference call. As a reminder, all participant lines will be in the listen-only mode. There will be an opportunity for you to ask questions after the presentation concludes. Should you need assistance during the conference, please signal an operator by pressing star and then 0 on your touchtone telephone. Please note that this conference is being recorded. We have with us today on the call Shri A.K. Das, MD and CEO, Shri P.R. Rajgopal, Executive Director, Shri Swaroop Das Gupta, Executive Director, Shri M. Karthikeyan, Executive Director, Srimati Monica Kalia, Executive Director, and other top management team from Bank of India. I now hand over the conference to Shri A.K. Das, MD and CEO. Thank you, and over to you, Mr. Das.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon to all the analyst friends who are on this call. Ladies and gentlemen, I extend a very warm welcome to each one of you for today's interaction and share with you the financial results of the bank for second quarter of financial year 21-22. I believe you all have the presentation copies with you. To a great relief for all of us, the second quarter witnessed certain positive developments with abatement of COVID infection, acceleration in the pace of vaccination, and above all, rebound in economic activities. The progress of monsoon has been conducive for agriculture production, and the industrial production continued to show a high YOY growth. The manufacturing and services PMI stood above 50, indicating expansion in commercial activities. The headline inflation has sobered down during the quarter, although core inflation remains an area of concern. The policy support from the Government of India and the Reserve Bank of India continued in favoring growth. The banking system credit growth, however, is yet to speed up, although the position has been a bit better than the last year. Till 24th September, the YTD credit growth has been 0.1% and YOY credit growth at 6.7%. The credit outreach program being conducted by banks during the current festive season is expected to translate into higher credit growth in coming months. In the above backdrop, the bank made a steady progress in its performance during Q2 of FY22. It's quite heartening to announce that the bank's net profit during the quarter almost doubled to 1,051 crore YOY. There has been a sequential improvement in NII and NIM. The global NIM improved from 2.16% for Q1 to 2.42% in Q2. The return on assets improved to 0.53%. There was reduction in NPAs, both quantum-wise as well as percentage-wise. The gross NPA ratio came down to 12% from 13.51% in June 21, and the net NPA ratio improved to 2.79 from 3.35%. Slippage ratio dropped from 1.09% in June 2021 to 0.36% in September, and credit cost declined from 0.95% in June to 0.26% in September. During the quarter, the bank successfully raised QIP of 2,550 crore and Tier 2 capital of 1,800 crore, thus elevating capital adequacy position of the bank to 17.05%. All these positive developments were supported by proactive change in business strategy, continued efforts for slippage and NPA management. On business side, the bank has made a conscious move to pare down the deposit base, especially the bulk deposits, which was brought down by over 16,000 crore in the half year. Of course, it had its impact in terms of lower business growth, but it helped us in improving the bottom line. Advances front, RAM advances grew by 10.45% and overall advances grew by 2.7%. The bank's operating profit for Q2 FY22 stood at 2678 crore against 2749 crore in previous quarter and 2831 crore in Q2 of FY21. A few pertinent points I would like to mention that during the current quarter, that is Q2, we had to make 130 crore additional provisions, comprising 80 crore towards depreciation bar fluctuation in investment as per the revised RBI guidelines, and rupees 50 crore for increase in family pension ceilings. But for this, operating profit during the quarter would have shown an increase over the previous quarter. Similarly, during Q2 of FY21, we received a one-time income of rupees 283 crore by way of interest and income tax refund. Therefore, decline in the operating profit during the current quarter has to be seen and interpreted in these perspectives. Coming to guidance for our business growth during the current year, there will be acceleration in advances growth going forward, since through a series of outreach campaigns which we have conducted for the last 2 months and which will continue for the coming months as well. Sufficient momentum in the field level has been generated. We expect our overall advances to grow by around 6 to 7% during the year. The bank's slippage ratio is expected to come down to around 0.3%. Gross NP ratio to further drop to below 10% and net NP ratio to around 2% by March 22. With favorable business composition, better collection and recovery mechanism, we will be able to enhance our NIM to around 2.6 to 2.75%. I once again thank you for all your continued support and wishing you festive greetings. Now I request the floor is open for discussion. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll now begin the question and answer session. Anyone who wishes to ask a question may press star and 1 on their touchtone telephone. If you wish to remove yourself from the question queue, you may press star and 2. Participants are requested to use handsets while asking a question. Participants are also requested to limit their questions to 3 per participant. Time permitting, they may come back in the queue for a follow-up question. Ladies and gentlemen, we will wait for a moment while the question queue assembles. Our first question is from the line of Ashok Ajmera from Azcon Global. Please go ahead.
Good afternoon, sir. Atanu Das, sir, and all our EDs and general managers, and congratulations to you for really a fantastic performance this quarter too. I mean, the last quarter was also reasonably good, and this quarter definitely you have surpassed some of our expectations, especially on the on the net profit front. And overall performance, the ratios are all under control. Having said that, sir, there are some information points which are there this time with almost every bank. Can you throw some light on the total amount of outstanding of Shrey and how much your provision has been made on that, and the recovery of DHFL of cash as well as the bond, and what treatment has been given to the bond which are received from Piramal? This is my first question. If you can answer it, I may ask a couple of other questions also.
Okay. Thank you very much, Ashok ji, for your encouraging words. I would request our ED, Shri Karthikeyan, to respond to specific questions.
Yeah. Good evening, Ashok ji. And the exposure to Shrey is 964 crores carat, and we have made a provision of 50% on that. And what was the in DHFL, our recoveries were 1,888.83, of which 857 was cash and the rest was the bond.
And sir, what is the treatment given to the bond? These are the 10-year bonds received from Piramal. So it has been taken in the securities, and any mark to market has been provided on that, taking the entire balance amount in the income.
Yeah. Good afternoon, Ashok ji. This is Shashidharan, General Manager Treasury.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yes, this bond which has been issued by Piramal has been taken into our books, and we have kept it in the AFS portfolio. Accordingly, this has suffered market depreciation. We have kept the value at 79 rupees as per the market value of that particular day. So to that extent, around 215 crores has been provided in this particular script. Recently, the DHFL is trading at around 88, so there is a bit of appreciation in that particular bond. This is what I would like to talk about the bond issued by Piramal.
That's great, sir. I mean, because you provided for almost about 21%.
Yeah.
And now it is going up. So it is a tradable commodity now. So I think, and with the Piramal name attached to the bond, I don't think there will be any major discount in future too. That's a very heartening this thing. Sir, in case of Shrey, when I think basically the provision required statutorily was only 15%, but almost every bank has provided 50%. Only one bank I think has done so far 40%. So is there any message from the regulators to do that 50% kind of provision, or it's your alone your own decision? And secondly, why do you expect that it was to be written off or the provided for to that great extent of 50% when the recovery prospects should be much higher?
Yeah, sure. See, there is no such any pressure and all. It is a proactive provision by the bank. And you know very well that the advisor has been put up by the regulator. So things definitely is taking a good shape, and we feel that similar to what had happened in DHFL, this Shrey also will get into a good mode very soon. So there is no such. It is a proactive measure by the bank.
Okay.
Ashokji, I would also like to add here, it is always prudent to provide proactively in good time.
No, that is always good, sir. And
we have to the tune of, I think, even in other standard accounts, we have provided about 630 crore. We have seen the benefits of early provisioning, so that in case there is any shock, we can absorb it. Otherwise, we will have to face awkward questions again. So we thought better to provide for it and have a provisioning buffer with us.
Yes, sir. No, sir. Point well taken, sir. And it's definitely a good move. Only for clarification, I was just asking.
Yes.
Okay. Sir, my one question is on, sir, this non-SLR, HTM has gone up by almost about 3,500 crore. So non-SLR for HTM, what is the quality? Can you throw some light on it, Mr. Karthikeyan? The investment or MD, sir?
Sorry, you can... Shashi?
Non-SLR HTM has increased by about 3,500 crore, the investment.
Yes, sir. Again, see, one is the recapitalization bond given by government for the government of India, that has given about 3,000 crores. That is classified under non-SLR.
Okay.
The other one is in the first question you have talked about the Piramal bond. That is non-SLR, which is about 1,030 crores. So that is why the addition in non-SLR HTM portfolio of in the non-SLR portfolio, the amount has gone.
Okay. Not to any private sector or any other bond. Yeah. That's a good clarification. Sir, our advances in the power sector has gone up in this quarter by 3,700 crore. If I'm right, reading the figures. So, what kind of this is to the distribution generation or private sector or government sector power company?
Majorly, it's to the distribution company secured by the government guarantees.
All government guarantees.
Yeah.
And sir, in this round, my last question is on the provision of taxation. The income tax, it has been provided as 733 crores, which comes almost about 45% of the profit before tax, as compared to around 30-32% in the last quarter. So is there somebody can throw the entire light of the entire 6 months of taxation of almost about 1,100 crore? How it has been calculated?
Yeah. CFO, please clarify.
See, our DTA is something around 10,000 crore. So what is the question actually?
The question is why so much of tax has been provided?
35% is other you provide.
Yeah. See, actually what happened, our liability for foreign tax credit is under dispute. That decision is yet to come. So considering that decision may come in our against or favor, we have taken proactive call in keeping the tax provision higher based on the suggestion given by our tax consultant.
No, it is a decision by tax. No, decision is pending in the appeal or in the
High Court it is pending.
It is in the High Court in the appeal. Okay.
Right.
All right. So that might, okay. We might receive rather.
For a banking parlance as a whole, it's not for our bank per se. It's for the entire bank. Wherever foreign credit, whether it can be allowable expenses or not, that decision is under trial at a High Court level.
Good, sir. Thank you very much, and I'll come back again if time permits and if I am called again. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much, and all the best.
Thank you. Our next question is from the line of Deepak Kumar Taparia, an individual investor. Please go ahead.
Yeah. Hi, sir. Can you give me the current book value after removing the DTA and revaluation reserves?
Do you have it with you right now? Deepak ji, if you don't mind, we will forward it to you, or after some time once readily not available with us.
Approximate, sir. Approximate.
See, approximate without FCTR and our preliminary expenses, it will be something around 85. And if you consider those elements like FCTR and other preliminary expenses, then it will be something around 126, 127.
Yeah, but after adjusting to DTA and everything, it is 85 rupees.
Yeah.
And,
It is 85.
Yeah. Sir, and this quarterly 1,000 crore profit is sustainable every quarter, sir?
1,000 crore profit, that's a very tricky question, sir. You all are aware, and we are also aware that there was a big resolution account this time around. So retaining that profit level will be challenging, but definitely we'll be in high three-figure numbers. Primarily because of the fact that slippages are well under control, and our recoveries have improved quite substantially. And we can't say at this point in time because 30,000 crore locked up in NCLT, and if some resolution comes, quick resolution comes, we may. But again, we were aided, like most other banks, with a big resolution account in Q2. So, but I can assure that it will be a high three-figure mark.
So approximately around 800 to 900.
Yeah.
And sir, what can you guide for quarterly operating profit, sir?
See, we have hovering around 2,500 to 2,600 per quarter. So our objective is to take it to beyond 3,000 crore. So for Q3, we are taking it 2,800 plus, and Q4 we are aiming at 3,000 plus.
Okay. And approximate provisions for the whole year?
Most of the provisions I think we have done upfront. I think we have got more than 1,000 crore provision buffer already with us. So this time you saw, despite doing a lot of provision also, because of the write back and all, it got adjusted. I think provisions will be also within manageable levels. It will not be much because aging provision we have done upfront, and there are no big corporate account concerns. Whatever provisioning requirement will be in the smaller ticket size, where the stress are comparatively more. So provisioning side also, I think our credit cost will be between maybe at the most 1%.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
This 0.34%, whatever credit cost is there, is because of big account resolution. Otherwise, it's around 1.3.
1.3. Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next question is from the line of Harsh Shah from Reliance General Insurance. Please go ahead.
Hello, sir.
Hello.
Sir, so my questions are regarding the first thing is that a DHFL recovery that has been considered in the recovery, right? Not as a other income.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we are seeing a recovery bump up quarter on quarter. So, but upgradation has been substantially very lower. So, any reason for that?
Yeah, upgradations are last quarter. If you are comparing, that's why your upgradations are low. Last quarter we had Future, so all of the major banks who had lent to Future, their assets got upgraded, so the figure is quite high. But this time, 278 crores. We have lined up some good number of assets for upgradation. Now, going forward, we feel that our upgradation should be in the range of around Q3. We'll have around 300, 350, and then the similar figure for Q4 also is expected.
The write-off would continue to remain at the current quarter level, around 3,500 or 3,000 crore kind of?
About
that would...
Write-off, prudential write-off? You are talking about potential write-off, sir? Mr.
Yes, sir. Yes, write-off in your presentation slide number, sir.
It will be around 2000. Presently, the potential write-off is 3,583.
Yes.
That number will be around 2,500 going forward.
Okay. And on your resolution framework for 1 and 2, the total comes to around 13,000 crore.
Absolutely.
And your one-time restructuring close to 7,600 crore. So are there any overlaps over there?
See, I would like to clarify, even in our resolution framework 1, our total outflow was around 8,000 crores earlier when we did it. But it has come down. Customers on the bounce of the economy, it has come down to a level of 5,807 recently. And in that, we feel that 80% of that is regular. And there is a small stress there in SMA category, which I think going forward, the market looking up, we don't find any problems in CRS 1. In RCRS 2, the total is 8,311, of which MSME amounts to 3,180 and retail happens to be 5,131. Here too, our 72% of that is still a regular category. There's no stress on that. So we again feel that even in retail segments, sir, our mortgage loan, vehicle loan, personal loans, they're not causing much of stress. The stress is slightly on account of home loans, where some of our customers have lost their jobs, are partially employed. And that going in the next Q3 and Q4, the market picking up, we find that number of borrowers coming out of that segment as well.
Okay. Sir, and one-time restructuring?
One-time restructuring, that's one time it is done, and the major account you know very well. It is Shravpurji, Polonji and Future Retail are the major ones.
Okay.
So,
sir, but is the hustle low?
You are seeing some light on that front as well. So,
sir, any overlap in the MSME one? Because we have 2169 in one-time restructuring. We have around 3180 in restructuring framework 2.0.
No, there is no overlapping, sir. The MSME segment is mostly below the 25 lakh category. 80% of that will be below the 25 lakh category. There is no big surprises in the higher 1 crore and above front.
Okay. And the credit cost guidance which you gave, which was 1% for the whole year, right? Is that correct?
Yeah.
And slippage ratio guidance, what did you say, sir?
We are contemplating 0.30%.
Okay, so for the whole year you are saying 0.3%, right, sir?
No, not for whole year. For the quarter only.
Okay, sir. Okay, so per quarter, 0.3% will be your slippage ratio. Is that correct understanding, sir?
Yeah. For the quarter, I'm saying. Like last quarter, Q2, it was 0.34, and we are planning to take it to 0.3 in Q3.
And credit cost also is for the quarter or for the whole year, sir? 1%.
Credit cost
Annualized.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. We'll take a next question from the line of Jayant K from Credit Suisse. Please go ahead.
Hi, sir. Actually, thank you for the opportunity. I wanted to understand on margins and growth, sir. You have had around 2.5% growth this quarter. Yet you're saying that full year you'll be only doing 6 to 7%. So first of all, what kind of growth is happening? And if this is happening in AAA and government accounts, what kind of yields are you getting there? And does this mean that our margins will likely, at least for this year, remain range bound at this current levels?
Yeah, margin, I told in the beginning also that one of the reasons why our margins were down last time was low credit growth, and this quarter, YOY, we got about 2.7%. Notwithstanding a good 11% growth in RAM segment. This year, why we are a little upbeat about margins is we are expecting, not for the full year. I told in the beginning that up to December, we will maintain this 6 to 7%. We will take a fresh call. Because as of now, we are not very sure about the third phase of COVID. So that will upset all calculations. So we are doing it in a calibrated way. Now, corporate loan book, that's a concern, primarily on account of lack of demand there. And still capacity utilization is about 60%. And we have got a lot of sanctions in hand. This year itself, we have done about 35,000 crore sanction till September. And the drawdown is not even to 10,000 crore. So we are eagerly awaiting for the capex cycle to restart. And we got quite a number of proposals also in hand, amounting to about 12,000, 13,000 crore. So going by this, when we have churned our deposit portfolio, where our CASA has grown by 13% and our bulk has come down by 16,000 crore, and that is how it translated into a deposit growth of less than 1%. Compare and contrast it with March, where our deposits grew by 13%. So this was a conscious strategy. This was a bottom line centric strategy, not a top line. So we will not mind if there is a slight decline in top line in deposits, but advances we will refocus and try to gain traction in corporate loan. So going by that, I think 260 to 275 could be margin that we are looking at.
And some slightly medium-term view on margins, sir, and I'm not looking at a number, but given that macro there is competition and, we do have the cost of funds advantage. So does it mean that we will not shy away from participating in corporate loans even if they are coming at, say, low pricing?
No, we are not shying away. We are quite upbeat about that, and we have been participating also. There has been some, competitive rate competition amongst all the banks, and everybody wants to increase its share in the pie. Our credit share in the market, it has gone down to 3.34% from 3.36. September end, we have recouped that 3.36%. We wanted to take it to beyond 3.4%. So that is by December. I am sure with that, I think margins will be quite stable and will be inching forward.
And so lastly on capital, so if we are, say, moving towards a slightly higher growth trajectory, but, given our cost structure, return on equities are still, let's say, in line with growth. So does it mean we will need external infusions? Are we thinking about that?
No. I think going by our loan book growth so far, and unless there is big bang growth, capital will not be a concern. We are adequately capitalized. We will also not require capital from the government. That we have made it very clear.
Okay. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. Our next question is from the line of Jay Mundra from B&K Securities. Please go ahead.
Yeah, hi sir. Good afternoon. Couple of questions, sir. First is, I think Shrey was not downgraded in this quarter, whereas other banks have downgraded this account in this quarter. What is the reason, sir? What if you can throw some light?
This is a direction of the court. So earlier the court had stalled the proceedings of the classification. The court had come clear that we need to classify it, and we have done so this quarter.
Probably, Jay, you are looking at that number 1307 and saying so, but again, that's a net slippage number. We have, so the Shrey will feature in the gross slippage, but net slippage number will be only showing 1307.
Yeah, so sir, 1307 number that you have written in the presentation also, of this corporate is only 476. So, is this the number net of recovery that you have done in this quarter?
Yeah. It is net figure only. The slippage figure of 1307 is the net fresh slippages.
Okay. And what would be the gross figure, sir? Because earlier I think we were reporting the gross number only. Or is there a change in the way reporting has been done?
No. We often report only the net figures, sir. We have not reported any gross figures. The opening balance outstanding of NPA was 56,042 and it has come down to 50,270. Addition of fresh slippages to an extent of 1307. It's a net slippage.
Yeah, so it is the net of this quarter recovery or the account which slipped in this financial year.
Yes, those accounts which have fallen have been recovered, upgraded, or that's how it is. During this quarter.
Right. So, sir, just for comparison purpose, can I have the gross slippages, sir? I mean, that will make quarter-to-quarter comparison relatively apple to apple.
This is what is it? You see, actually, it's dynamic process, sir. Once the daily flagging has started from 15/4, so it's a dynamic process. No, why that doesn't? We have classified and we have got recovered on a daily basis. It happens.
Right, but I think, sir, you are the only bank which is doing this. All other banks are reporting gross slippages and then they are showing the recovery and upgrade, even if they have been recovered in the same quarter in a separate line item, recovery upgrades. So just for comparison, if you have that.
We'll check it out.
We will check it out, and if it is required, we will definitely.
Definitely, we'll check it out. Yeah.
Sure, sir. Okay, that is one. Second thing is, sir, on restructuring this thing. So you have given a very clear table, restructuring 1, 2, and OTR. Is there an erstwhile restructuring also, right? Which was, let us say, Air India and those things. Is that included, or that is a separate thing?
No. This is not including the big ones. It is whatever we've shown as resolution framework 1, 2, and one-time restructuring. It's all. It is not restructured, no.
Okay, but sir, is this the total restructuring that you have, or there is some fourth erstwhile restructuring that was going on?
No. This is the figure of restructuring.
Right. So this is the total number of total restructuring book for as of 2Q, right?
Exactly. It includes the moratorium we initially started. No, you are aware that first time from February onwards to August there was a moratorium. That also includes it. And FITL also included. All that has been closed now. 62.95 crores is the only FITL left over, which is again because of stray, which got classified.
Understood. And what is the restructuring provisions outstanding that you are carrying, which is not in PCR?
10%.
Or the amount you said?
10% of all these.
Current quarter it is 595.62 and outstanding is around 1493, which you have given in the notes to accounts point number 10.
Okay, understood, sir. That is very helpful. And last question, sir, before I come back. So on your capital, sir, I mean, I'm not able to understand that you have the highest capital, CET1 at around 13% plus and total CAR at 17%, right, which is, let us say, head and shoulder above the other PSU banks. And you are still saying that you will be reaching system average. And your net NPA is also the lowest, right, except SBI. And restructuring, it looks like, in good shape. So what is the contradiction that, you have the highest capital, lowest net NPA, but yet your growth appetite is the lowest or at max the system level?
Jay, we should not, I believe you will appreciate, we should not lose sight of the ground reality. Everywhere there is a hue and cry about credit not picking up. It doesn't take much time for me to tell a 15% figure also. That's why I have been repeatedly telling that compared to 2.70 at September, we are aiming at 6 to 7%, and December we will take a course correction. So it's not that we are shying away. We are aware that there is more risk appetite. We are capitalized at 17% plus. So for the moment only we are saying this 6 to 7%. And ground reality you have seen every bank that is the position. CCOD limit 69% only availed. And a lot of sanctions, but disbursements are not happening. There is a disintermediation through bonds and other routes also. I think as an analyst, I think you should take this kind of investment also along with credit. That will give the real picture.
Right. So I was just looking at that, do you have any alternate use for the capital that you have? I mean, do you intend to redeem some of the tier 2 bonds, or do you think of some other usage for this, 13% CET1 or 17% CAR? Is there any alternate use also?
No,
I don't know.
Our only focus is on growing the loan book.
1,000 crore is falling due.
March. 1,000 crore is falling due in March, which has been provided for now.
Right.
HDFC 20.5.
Right. Correct.
HDFC.
Okay, sir. I'll come back in the queue. Yeah.
Okay, fine. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next question is from the line of Sohail Halai from Antique Stock Broking. Please go ahead.
Good evening, sir. Congrats on a good set of numbers, and thanks for the opportunity. Sir, couple of things. If I look at your SMA disclosures, one is above 5 crores and one is the entire book. And if I try to derive the SMA which is only below 5 crores, so one trend that I can see is your SMA 0 is actually coming off quite significantly, but SMA 1 and 2 is kind of sticky. So is the incremental stress in these books have slowed down considerably, and it is more of the management of SMA 1 and 2 right now? If you could give any comments on that.
Good observation. SMA 0 definitely is coming down. SMA 1 also is coming down. We can see the figures. It was 16,389 on 31/3/21 and has come down to 8,447 during Q1, and now it has come down to further down to 8,132. There is a good coming down of SMA 0 and 1. SMA 2, you are right. There is a slight aberration there. 14,983 crores is the SMA 2 numbers, but there also you can see it was 11,358 in March, but it shot up to 16,400 in Q1, and there also it has come down to 14,984. So the issue in SMA 2 is you are seeing the numbers coming down. There has been the number is more skewed towards less than 25 lakh portfolio, where about 13,343 are there in that bucket. In SMA 2 alone, if that amounts to 7,570 crores. So what we are now trying to do is, tech-driven process is also on the cards, and the contact, we have expanded the reach to the customer. Now we are sending SMS, the DCs have been activated, the branches now have the list on them, the call centers have been activated, links have been provided to them for knowing what is their dues. So all these methodologies, robust methodologies put in place, the recoveries are coming, and we don't see. You would have seen, the slippage was around 20.81 SMA during December 20. It has come down substantially to 7.39. So that gives a good leverage that the follow-up at the ground level, field level beneficiaries very aggressively acting upon recovery front is happening in the bank.
So just carrying on to this, in fact, I was just about to say that despite the high SMA 2 numbers, the slippages this quarter were quite low. So one, in terms of if the borrower is able to somehow pay, or you are able to recover, and the economic environment continues to improve, by how long do you think that we'll see this number actually coming off from around 15,000 crores odd number to probably a much lower number?
The slippage ratio, as our MD and CEO puts it, it is 2.3%. No, so that we have. Right. So you should in turn derive that our recovery efficiency, even if your collection efficiency overall, if you see 94-95% was there in Q1, and that has improved to 96.27 during this quarter. So collection.
So is it fair? Sorry, sir. So is it fair to say that in the third and the fourth quarter, probably this 15,000 crores numbers will also come off?
It will go down. Definitely it will go down. No doubt about it.
And sir, other thing, any overlap between SMA numbers and the restructured book?
Yeah, restructured book has SMA 2 as well. This number, there is definitely going to be overlap. Restructured numbers, standard restructured is 21,275, and there is going to be some overlap.
Okay, but you would not be able to quantify that number, sir?
We can give it. That's not an issue. Individually, we can give it.
Okay. Okay. Sure, sir. And sir, finally, last thing in terms of our PCR is at 79, that is on books. So if I actually have to arrive at a aging related provision for the next few quarters, how much per quarter it would be in your assessment?
PCR is 87.81.
Yes, sir.
And presently, that is one good question you have asked. The aging of provisions we consider. It was earlier, the requirement for Q2 was around 650 crores. We have brought it down to around 458 crores because we have focused more on those assets where aging is required. So going forward also, this will be coming down to an extent of 500 crores each quarter.
Okay. And sir, final, sorry to prolong it long, in terms of just if you could give the provision on the restructured book, and sir also mentioned that around 600 crores is a prudent provision. So if you could give the provision on the restructured book and entire excess provision over and above the PCR that we have.
Note number 10 is accounts, note of accounts, point number 10 gives detailed elaborate description of that.
In this, we have current outstanding of 1493. Out of that current quarter, we have provided 596.
Over and above the
regulatory requirements. Provisions as per regulatory requirements.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Thank you. We'll take our next question from the line of Rakesh Kumar from Systematics. Please go ahead.
Yeah. Hi, sir. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you can. Please.
Yeah. Thanks a lot, sir, for the opportunity. So, really good set of numbers with, containment in the term deposit that, we had planned and articulated, and we are still continuing with that. And that is certainly helping in the LDR and the margin, apart from the support coming from lesser, interest income reversal. Just two things I have observation in the number. One is that cash to deposit and borrowings number is close to around 18%. And apart from that, we still have investments to deposits and borrowings at around 27%. And we have total CET at around 13.odd%.
Yeah.
So are we keeping this cash actually number and investment number, which is very high from the threshold numbers required by RBI? So what is the plan to use use this capital going ahead, and how soon we can have on the LDR maybe at 75% or something like that?
Yeah.
As earlier we have said, in corporate books we are already sanctioned roughly around 35,000 crore. Out of that, 10,000 crore has been utilized by the borrower, and another 24 to 25,000 crore not utilized by the borrower. As demand picks up, we are having ready sanction with us 25,000 crore. Plus that utilization is CC limit also is in the range of 60 to 65%. The moment we are expecting that in Q3 and Q4 the momentum will take place, and we will then in a position have the capital to fund these assets also comfortably.
Okay. And so the PCR is very comfortable now at around
87%.
79% number, calculated number.
87.
Yes. So that is with including the, I think, written off loans number also. So still it is very comfortable number. So where we would like to take it further to from here?
We will be maintaining it. It's quite adequate now. Probably we will be able to maintain that and probably 1 or 2 points more.
Okay. That's very good. That's a very good number, sir. Thanks for the opportunity. Thanks a lot, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. Our next question is from the line of Bhavesh Shah from Morgan Stanley. Please go ahead.
Hi, sir. So thanks for the opportunity.
Thanks.
So we took around 50 crores of pension cost, like hike in family pension payouts this quarter. So what would be the total amount that we have to take over the period of 5 years?
450, bolo. Yeah. Sir, actually we have so far not gone ahead with assessing the actuarial valuation. We made a management estimation of around 550 crore, and out of that 50 crore we have provided in this half yearly basis. Remaining 50 crore also will be providing in the next half yearly. So 100 crore will be total, will be considered in this current year. And going ahead, once the actual valuation takes place, then we'll take an appropriate call in the next quarter onwards.
Amortize it.
Because amortization of 5 years is RBI has already given that window, and because our BOI Bank of India pension regulation, that amendment is yet to be taken place. So pending amendment, we have taken a management estimation. Once that amendment takes place actually, then we'll take a call in taking the estimation from the actuaries and go ahead with the actual valuation as per AS 15.
Okay, sir. Understood, sir. Sir, you mentioned from your restructured book, if I heard it correctly, around 80% is regular.
Yeah.
So, what do you mean by regular? Regular means standard, and the other 20% is an SMA book, or how is it?
There is no slippage. There is no slippage in the restructured assets. The restructured are the people who are in slight problems. But what is a good thing happening for the bank is, even on the restructured asset, the borrowers, once the revival has taken place, they have started paying back.
Okay. I didn't understand this correctly, sir.
Can you clarify it again?
See, total of the RFCRS 2, if you take 8,409 crores, the regular assets are 72%. That means they are in the regular category. There are some people who would have taken a shorter term of restructuring, and probably they thought that the COVID things will pay off, go off soon. So those assets in the restructured are slightly coming into NPA, DPD categories. And that's where we said the standard asset is, under the restructuring category, is 72%.
Okay. Understood. Sir, from the total book, what would be the share of floating rate loans? I mean, repo linked or MCLR linked?
83-84% will be. No, total book is asking.
Total domestic book.
Fixed rate is only 10%, so 90% is floating.
10% is fixed only, 90% is floating.
So 90% is floating. So 90% would only include repo linked, MCLR, and external benchmark.
Repo and MCLR both included.
Okay, sir. So thanks a lot, sir.
Thank you.
That's it from my side.
Thank you. Our next question is from the line of Ashok Ajmera from Ascon Global. Please go ahead.
Thanks for the opportunity the second time. Sir, my question now relates to some other activities of making little more income. One is on that co-lending space. You have a co-lending arrangement with MAS, I think. And what is your experience on that, and what is our book size there? And are you looking for any such more opportunities of co-lending even in the gold business also? There is a lot of opportunity, gold loans. One is that, and secondly, on this recovery front, though there is a very good recovery because of some other regions also this time, but you said that you have got a very in-house staff team for Sanjeevani and that Saksham too, and so what kind of results coming in, and what is our experience on that front? Though the recovery department is doing extremely well, and something on this co-lending and other income from the other than our normal lending business.
Yeah, Ashok ji, I'm Pramod speaking, GM MSME. As you rightly said, we have tied up with MAS, and lending will start from in a week's time. Whatever the documentation issues were there, we have taken care, and lending will start from the next week onward. Till now, our experience is good in working with MAS. As far as other sectors are concerned, gold loan and as far as the vehicle loans, both we are in a final discussion with the two NBFCs.
Okay.
As regards Ashokji, as regards recovery, this, as you rightly said, the scheme which we have called Saksham involves the lower down staff in getting the leads for recovery. very well know that the SMAs or the NPAs are more in the less than 25 lakh category, which are in large numbers. The reach to the customer is well done by the Shaksham, that is the subset of people. There are 38,911 leads which have been generated amounting to 479 crores. So that is yielding very good results under the compromise proposal. And secondly, this BOI, OTS and BOI Sanjeevani, totally last year our total number of assets we resolved was around the range of 50,000. This year, half year, we have already done 1,17,878 accounts and amount of 2,439 crores has come as resolution, of which around 1,262 crores the compromise amount has been arrived. 453 crores have already been recovered and 821 crores, which will be a milestone that we have set ourselves probably 3 months or 6 months down the line. The recoveries are coming. One good thing happening also is this e-auction platform. E-auction platform last year, last quarter we have done about 50 sales, and this year, this quarter we have done about 76 properties sold. Here the major objective of the bank is not to harass the customers. We make these auction platforms so that the parties come for resolution. So you'll be happy to know that nearly 314 customers during this quarter, amounting to 185 crores recovery has been made during Q2.
That's excellent, sir. Sir, hello.
Yeah.
Sir, you said, sir, that our major thrust will be now on the credit, using that money, and a huge amount of sanctions in many cases are pending for them to take the disbursement of the release of the facility. My question is, sir, is there any team, sir, which is assessing this sanction letter and finding out the reasons why these parties are not availing these facilities or getting it released, either a term loan or a working capital or a additional working capital? Is it not that, many a time my experience, personal experience is this, sir, that many a time some of the conditions are very stringent conditions in this scenario, for last 4 or 5 years, whatever sanctions are being made because of the past little wrong, bad experience. So is there any, other than the reason for the party not taking it because they don't want it, is there any other reason? Are we going into that? Can we not form a sort of a team or a committee for that to look at that why they are not availing? Is it any conditions are coming in between them to avail this facility, sir?
I believe it is not so. I'm sure you would have seen the stance taken by the other banks. At least I can vouch for all PSBs, including SBI, when we interact in various forums. This is the common thread running across all the banks, number one.
Okay. Yes.
Number two, overall demand sentiments are low. So that is why that could be one of the reasons. But nonetheless, we have our credit teams. This is a specific board direction that wherever good rated companies at least, let us forget about below entry or just about entry level. They are not availing. It could be because of 2 reasons. One is cash rich, or they don't require any capex funding now. But our team is, we are having regular VCs with many of the clients at branch level as also at head office level. So we are engaged with them. But all said and done, things are similar across all the PSBs. I can vouch for that.
Okay, sir. Point well taken, sir. Sir, my last question in this round is about the digital initiative, sir. End-to-end banking, and on that even many of the PSE, public sector banks are a little lacking as compared to the private sector banks. What is our initiative on that digital end-to-end banking, and what kind of budget allocations which we putting a major thrust on it, or we are keeping it just a moderate, or we have some strong push for this digital initiative, sir?
I would request our EDC Rajgopal to respond to this.
Mr. Ajmera, last time also when we were discussing, we said that we are going to put in place an e-platform. So that is actually in the offing. By December, I think we will be up and running with respect to our platform. The budget, of course, is already provided for. It is a 300 crore budget.
Okay, sir.
For a period of 5 years. That will continue to be there. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So apart from that, there are many initiatives that are being taken. It will take another 12 to 18 months for us to put in place all that.
All right, sir. No, sir, just.
Sorry to interrupt, Mr.
Okay,
Almeida.
all right. Okay. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, may we request you to please limit your questions and keep them short so that we will be able to address all questions from the participants. We'll take a next question. That's a follow-up from Jayant K from Credit Suisse. Please go ahead.
Hi, sir. Sir, two questions. One is, if I were to add the growth in the corporate investment book this quarter, what would that quarter-on-quarter growth would be, sir? Bond book?
Bond book. No, he says in addition to credit, if we add the corporate bond subscription, so how much that figure will...
The corporate book has remained stagnant at around 43,000 crores. There has not been much accretion apart from 1,000 they have received from DHFL.
One thing that you will understand here, with the AAA rated quoting below reverse repo, you expect us to put that money there.
No, sir, I understand the concerns. That's why only I was trying to see if there are any opportunities emerged over there.
Where is the opportunity? You tell me. If there is an opportunity, we'll put.
No, sir. And so secondly, sir, on this corporate slippage number on slide 36, so 476 crore is netted off with, there will be one Shrey over there, but there would be other corporate recoveries that is offsetting that. What? Can you explain that movement?
That's why we initially also said that we are normally giving the net fresh slippages, and I have clarified that if it is, we'll check it out and we'll see that your gross slippages to be given, and we will give it to you.
Sir, was there any lumpy large recovery in corporate book?
Which one?
Recovery in corporate book, that is the biggest account that we have told you, na? 1,700.
So that wouldn't be used in the netting over here, right? That would be...
It is, CR netting means what? Netting means any slippage that is happening during the quarter, getting upgraded in the same quarter will be netted off.
Okay, sir. That's much clear. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Our next question is a follow-up from Jai Mundra from B&K Securities. Please go ahead.
Yeah, hi, sir. So first on, if you have the net NPA in corporate book, sir, so you have given the total GNPA. If you, just wanted to check how much of the corporate GNPA are still not provided. That is one data point.
They are almost all here. One thing you should understand, Mundra, 53% of my corporate book is 100% provided. Okay? And the remaining NCLT cases are there, they are more than 90%. 90%. There is hardly any corporate book provision that is happening in the last 2 years. There are no slippages at all in corporate.
Right. Okay, so that number would be what, less than 2,000 odd crore, right? If I were to just say net NPA in corporate book.
Less than that.
To the 10,597 is the net NPA, of which corporate
book is around 2,000. You can take that as much.
Give that number. NPA is only 13,000. That is what. How much is corporate in that?
That is okay. Forget about it. If you can have, you give it.
Page 36 Page 36 of the presentation.
36 presentation is there, page number 36 slide you see.
That is slippage only.
The NPA is asking. NPA is actually, see, out of 50,000 crores of NPA, around 2,000 plus is what? Net NPA only I am talking. Net NPA only.
It's about 2,000 crores.
2,000 crores. Yeah.
Okay, understood.
NPL much more.
Right. Second thing is, sir, on restructuring, right? So when do these accounts come out of moratorium? Let's say R2, the phase 2 restructuring. Usually, it is safe to assume that for the next 6 months, they will not come out of moratorium, or only a tiny proportion will come out of moratorium.
See, I informed you earlier. See, this is based on the cash flow. Individually, they should go for a restructuring. The mandate should come from the party, and they know the cash flows how they are going to happen. So, based on their cash flow, it ranges from around 3 months' time to 2 years. That's what the regulator has given time. So, it is not one figure that all of them will continue. It is. So, we are saying that, as I told you earlier, the recoveries in the restricted assets are also happening, no? So, if, for example, RFCRS 1, 8,000 crores was our restructuring, but whereas it has come down to 5,870, that means the borrowers on the recovery front has made some recoveries when the good times are coming. So, it is a dynamic process and we don't see any much stress over there on that segment.
Understood, sir. And second thing, sir, on the notes to account 10, I think that number is included in your PCR calculation already. What I was looking for is out of your 20,000 crore restructuring number, what is the provision that you are carrying? So I think these are the two different numbers. The notes to account 10 is actually...
I'll explain that. See, notes to account 10 is talking about the standard accounts. Standard accounts is not a part of PCR calculation. PCR calculation is solely based on the non-performing assets, provision on non-performing assets.
Yeah. How much is it? Restructuring, how much? 10%. 10%? Yeah. 10% of the restructuring assets?
More than that. Yeah. Overall restructured book, Jay, it is like this, for us, you have that slide where the restructuring has been given as per the RBI guidelines, RCFRS 1, 2 and then OTR has been given. There the provisions are different depending upon what RBI has mandated. It ranges between 10 to 15% plus in many cases. Whereas in the case of standard restructured, provision held is around 5%, which is a very, very small portfolio today. Okay. Non-standard restructured portfolio is almost well provided for, almost 35% plus is provided for them. Okay, that's how the whole thing works out. So on an average, we hold around 20-25% in the entire restructured book. Entire restructured book. From notes to accounts point of view. Okay?
Okay, understood, sir. And last thing, sir, if you can share the slide 24, what is the, so you're given the percentage, I just wanted the absolute number in slide 24. So that shows the BB and below book. So in absolute number, what is the number?
You have absolute number with you. We will share it with you. We are not readily having it yet. We thought this will give a good glimpse. This is percentage of gross advances.
That absolute numbers of AAA, AA. He can calculate.
They will forward it to you by mail, the absolute number.
Sure, sir. Great, sir. Thank you, sir, and all the best.
Thank you.
Thank you. That was the last question. I would now like to hand the conference over to Shri A.K. Das for closing comments. Over to you, sir.
Yeah, thank you very much, analysts, friends and investors. It has been a very engrossing kind of deliberation. I think compared to this is one of the longest we had. A lot of participation happened today. And we count on your suggestions. We count on your guidance. A lot of new things also you have suggested today. And we have also tried to improve every quarter. Like Jay used to ask about SMA overall number. So this time we have also made it part of the presentation, not 5 crore and above alone. So we will continue to count on you. And thank you very much once again for joining us. And wish all of you and your family members happy Diwali in advance. Thank you.
Thank you. On behalf of Bank of India, I announce that this conference concludes. Thank you for joining us, and you may now disconnect your lines.